into Reaves. Here we go. This is your game. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. Reaves splits the defense. The floater in the paint. It's good at the buzzer. Good at the buzzer. Austin Reaves does it again. The Lakers win it on Austin Reaves running bucket at the buzzer. The crowd and the T-Wolves are stunned. Reaves continues to come up big when the game is on the line.
The Lake Show. Austin Reaves comes through in the clutch for the Lakers as they took down the Wolves last night, 116-115. Stephen A., what did you think of this buzzer beater?
Listen, I got a lot of love for the Austin Reaves. The brother can play, and I think people forget that last year there was a chunk of time, RC, Dan, where he was the best third option in the NBA. Now, for me personally, I thought it was embarrassing the other night when the Sacramento Kings let the brother roll up and drop 51 as the number one option. There's one thing you can score because you got Luka and you got LeBron on the court and you can be a decoy and they can't focus on you totally. But when neither of them are there and you're the number one option and the Sacramento Kings let you drop 51, that's a reflection on that franchise. But this is a reflection on, he had 28 last night. The brother can score. He can score, he can play, and I love his development under J.J. Redick, Nate McMillan, and that coaching staff. Props to him. Props to the Lakers. They're 3-2 on the year, nothing to brag home about, but it's not like they're losing. Yeah. You know, so I like Austin Reaves a lot. He can play, period.
Was he this good in college?
Bro,
no.
Honestly, too, though, you hating on him. Slick hating a little bit.
No, I swear to you,
when J.J. Redick got there, right, the conversations about Austin Reaves began, right? We started to talk about how he could be a better player under J.J. Redick. If you put up his stat line right now through these 5 with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander,
right there.
I bet you couldn't pick which one it was.
It's right there. That's totally true, but we all know we have 2 eyes, and we know there's Shea Butter and then there's Austin Reaves.
Right, but
it's not in the same stratosphere.
No, I understand that, but you also got to think though, when you look at him now, what happens when Luka's healthy? What happens when LeBron is healthy? I agree. And you know, sometimes this ain't Jeremy Lin. Sometimes when you get the time, when you get the chance to hold the rock like that, now when you are that third option, think about what they could be.
But I swear to you, I'm not hating. I love Austin Reaves. The brother can play.
Where'd he go to school?
He could play. You know, I forget.
How about that? I don't know.
I forget. You don't think about where he goes to school, but you know he can play.
You know where he ain't go? UConn.
Yeah. Would have been a top 5 pick anyway. Huge news out of Detroit as the Lions are extending their star rusher out of Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson, for 4 years. The new deal is worth $180 million with $141 guaranteed, giving him one of the top yearly salaries for any non-quarterback in the NFL. He's got 6 sacks. He ranks behind only Micah in quarterback pressures. The Lions, 5-2 behind the Packers for first place in the NFC North. Green Bay, though, has the shortest odds to win the division at -125, according to ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Packers did dominate the Lions in Week 1. The two do meet again in Week 13 in Detroit. Stephen A., I start with you. Are the Lions or the Packers the better team in the NFC North?
Me personally, I'm going to sit up there and say for the moment, you have to give it to the Green Bay Packers because the last time we saw the
ball, and I would make the case one of the best offensive lines in football. So offensively, whatever defense does to them, they can get it done. Week 1, that was like that crazy outlier. Everything's changed since then. Defensively, can they stop the run? Top 5 stopping the run. Can they get after the passer? No question about it. Aiden Hutchinson and Lee McNeil getting there healthy. What secondary is better? What secondary is more talented playing man coverage? Maybe Denver? I mean, they got 4 or 5 cats that can lock down in man coverage when healthy. I think they got, you would know better than me, but one of the, if not the best safety duos in football. They play with an edge. This is a football team that went down to Kansas City, and I understand Kansas City won the game,
hung with them,
but they were decimated by injury on the back end. They drop a 4th down by Amon-Ra in the first half. They get the Goff touchdown that gets called back because of a penalty that maybe had some language that wasn't detailed and known by their coaching staff. This team, I don't think there's another team in ball that can, no matter what style is needed, play to that style in a winning way like Detroit can.
The Green Bay Packers can. And the Green Bay Packers are actually more consistent on defense. Now, you don't want to hate on Detroit, or not acknowledge the job that Kelvin Shepard has done as the defensive coordinator.
That's fair.
And I think you truly have to point to the Monday night game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? You're playing with guys who have been called up or who have made the team from the UFL. Both of your starting safeties, who are all pro caliber safeties, are gone. And the ability to disguise and the ability to maneuver after the snap to confuse Baker Mayfield, cover Emeka Egbuka, I thought it was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it doesn't erase what we saw in Kansas City. It doesn't erase the way that Matt Nagy and Andy Reid attacked that man defense, especially in the red zone. And this is with Brian Branch. Right, and so I don't believe that when you look at Detroit, we could say that they're holistically better than the Green Bay Packers, holistically better than the Philadelphia Eagles, holistically better than the Los Angeles Rams, because still on the back end, DJ Reed has to come back and be exactly who he was before the injury. I think Terrion Arnold wasn't playing as well as you would have expected him to. And when I look at the Green Bay Packers, there's obviously the disappointing games too. Right? Offensively, Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
Got to be better. Matthew Golden, you can't step out of bounds when you get the go ball. Defensively, Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
You have to be better. So there are those games, and there are no perfect team. I love the way Jordan Love is now playing football.
Sure.
I love the fact that you said this, and we talked, and Mina said this on Monday. It's okay to put it in Jordan Love's hands now.
Yeah.
Even though that run game is great, we don't have to just rely on that or lead with that going forward. And I think you cannot minimize the impact of Micah Parsons on his defense.
That's right, exactly. But we're going to find out about Micah Parsons in this defense now when you go up against the Detroit Lions this time around, because when the familiarity that they have with one another, whether it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Laporta, whomever, you got all these cats with Gibbs and Montgomery coming out of the backfield. The fact that all of these bodies are familiar bodies that you have been coaching with and playing together with these last few years. That level of chemistry, Detroit is a team that we need to be talking about in terms of no excuses. You talk about a window. You understand? I'm looking at their talent, and obviously it extends beyond this year, but I'm just talking about knocking on the door. Considering the culture change that Dan Campbell has invoked, considering how good they've looked during the regular season over the last 2 years, considering how great they looked last year until the tail end of the season when they had that plethora of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I'm just looking at them now, and I find myself saying, okay, just be healthy. Just be healthy so we don't have any excuses.
Yeah.
And we all know that with Jared Goff, even though the brother's a stud statistically, and we know he could play, we've also seen him in some big moments not do what we're looking for him to do.
But I will say this, though, and this is for any college kid, there is no team in the NFL that I'd rather be drafted to than the Detroit Lions.
Because?
If you go to the Detroit Lions, one, you're going to be developed.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo Williams, Aiden Hutchinson.
Penei Sewell.
Two, you're going to be paid.
Yep.
It is such, to me, it is such a compliment to not only Aiden Hutchinson, but Brad Holmes. He said, look, you're coming off an injury.
Yeah.
If you can show
Big
me
deal.
that you're the same person, I promise I won't make you wait.
Yeah.
I promise you'll get
kept
paid.
his word.
And he kept his word.
It's like the Eagles.
It's like the Eagles.
Yeah.
You get drafted to this team, you will
We'll
not
take care
only
of you.
develop, win, but you'll get taken care of. That's an
under the
important
radar.
thing in the locker room.
That's under the radar, because the other day when the news hit about Aiden Hutchinson, you know what? We just said, okay, they signed to extension. That usually doesn't happen this time of year.
No.
Correct.
That usually happens. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I will say this, second half against Pittsburgh, I don't know if there's a better team that played a better half than the Packers.
Agreed.
Yeah, they're very good football
offensively
team. Very
and,
good.
and defensively.
Very good football
Very
team.
scary. Good football.
Somebody has his roots, though, in Detroit.
I took Jordan Love as the MVP this year.
Okay, so he's playing both sides, folks. Dallas is hoping to get off the mat on Monday when they play the Cardinals. Wait until you hear eye-opening comments from their head coach, Shoddy. Shoddy with some comments. You don't want to miss this. Speaking of eye-opening comments, oh baby, the Louisiana governor had a lot to say about LSU's recent coaching and buyout situation.
That's
Trust me, RC.
That's
take
right.
a lap.
Don't go nowhere.
We got
Don't go nowhere.
Must-See TV
You don't go nowhere.
on the way.
Yeah, but at least he's going to pick the AD.